Good morning, friends. Welcome to Go Long, a show that focuses on local sports and faith. Includes thought-provoking interviews with area coaches, players, and sports figures, unashamed Bible discussion, and the one and only, it's back. It's out of here, the popular and entertaining WOYK Scoreboard Show. I'm Wayne McCullough. With me is Becky B.
Good morning.
Thanks for being with us, because we got a dandy with us this morning. Hey, York Revolution pitcher, a local boy, Nick Parker. Hey, we were in the stands last night. Nick Parker came in, pitched 4 solid innings for the Revs, giving up just 1 run on 4 hits. But the most impressive thing I thought was he worked himself out of a jam, man on third, nobody out. Nick Parker worked himself out. I'm looking forward to talking with Nick Parker, a Dallastown High School grad, went on to pitch at Coastal Carolina, then, more recently this year, pitched for Virginia in the ACC and deep into the College World Series. Nick Parker, he's here live with us this morning. And Becky B, Special K.
Special K's back.
Alrighty, Candace Butler recently nominated for the NCAA Women of the Year Award. My friends, as Paul addressed believers in Rome and explained his mission in the book of Romans, for I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it is the power of God that brings salvation to everyone who believes. You know, that's our mission on Go Long. As we celebrate the accomplishments of our local athletes, coaches, and sports figures, we do it in an unashamed, faith-based way. Go Long, a show that connects us as a community of believers. My friends, throughout the show, you may text your prayer requests, and please do so to 717-350-8591. Again, even throughout the week, please, our prayer warriors will pray for you. Send your text your prayer requests to 717-350-8591. Alrighty then, you know, it's Red Hot Ed Hot. It's downtown Ollie Brown. This is the Grand Salami of faith-based sports radio shows, brought to you by Sports Radio WOYK 98.9 FM, 1350 AM, First in York and First in Sports, and our friends Kelsey Jean and Kylie Jane at Red Barn Home Decors, where home staging makes dollars and cents. You wanted it, you asked for it, and you're going to get it. This is the WOYK Scoreboard. In the Susquehanna League Men's Hardball Go Long Game of the Week, the Jacobus Jackals exploded for 15 runs in the bottom of the third to come back from 10 runs down to win over the Stewartstown Vets 18-12. At 30 runs on that game on Thursday evening. The Jacobus hit parade included 21 base knocks for the day.
Stewartstown led this thing 10-0 heading into the bottom of the third when explosion at the plate happened. In the bottom of the inning, the Jackals rolled off 9 straight hits before the first out and included 14 base knocks in the inning.
One inning.
In one inning.
14 base hits in one inning. Yikes.
And how about this day? I mean this inning at the plate for the plate at the Jackals for Jacobus. Brendan Delbridge went long not once, but twice in the beginning.
I love it. Going
yes.
Downtown once, twice. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, Delbridge with a 3-run moonshot and a 2-run blast, all in the bottom of the third.
That's having a pretty good inning, I would say.
I would say so.
For the day, Brendan Delbridge with 3 hits, including his 2 ding-dong, the Witches Dead dingers, and 7 ribbies. Brandon Ritchie was perfect at the plate with 4 base knocks on 4 trips to the dinner table, and Shane Hobart and Joshua Monturo each with a pair of hits.
Matt Buckery led the Stewartstown Vets with a 2-run blast in the fourth, a 2-bagger, and 5 sweet ribbies. Still for the Vets, Joseph Thomas ripped a 3-run tater in the bottom of the second and finished his day with a pair of base hits.
It's almost like the baseball is juiced.
I know, but you think when you're going into the third inning with a 10-run lead, you think, this game's pretty well.
It wasn't. In other Susquehanna League games of the week, the East Prospect Pistons pounded York Township out, scored 9-3. For the Pistons, on the hill with the pill was Josh Kreider. Kreider hurled a complete game gem, allowing just 1 run on 4 hits. The win over Township clinches the regular season marbles for East Prospect. Devin Strickler with a pair of base knocks and 2 ribbies. Dylan Stoops was a 3-for-4 day at the plate and a pair of ribbies. Brent Taylor with 3 base hits, and Brett Alimo with a pair of knocks and an RBI for the Susquehanna League regular season champions, the East Prospect Pistons.
Perhaps this is a little redemption
think.
for East Prospect. They ended up in 3rd place last season, just a game back of league-winning Windsor and runner-up York Township. Also, in Susquehanna League play this week, the Windsor Cardinals doubled up the Felton Mad Dogs as Hunter Seitz tossed a complete game for the W, whiffing 8 along the way. Connor DeWeese with 3 hits and 3 ribbies for the Cardinals.
And the Conrads played the 11 runs in the bottom of the 6th to come from behind to derail the Hellam Express 14-5 for the New Bridgeville 9. Stepping up to the plate in the bottom of the 6th with the bases jacked was Nolan Bouchel. Here's the pitch. Bouchel connects. It's high. It's far. Becky B, grab the provolone and mustard because we're going on a picnic. It's Nolan Bouchel Grand Salami. Alex Tucci with a solo jack and Ethan Schimmel with a 2-round dinger for the Hellam Express. Alrighty, Becky B, give us a look at the Susquehanna League standings.
Okay, and East Prospect winning the regular season at 23-11, followed by Windsor Cardinals at 20-15. York Township's in 3rd place, 20-15, and the Conrads tied 17-17. The Jackals from Jacobus at 14-20, Hellam Express 14-22, the Vets from Stewartstown at 7-25, and Felton Mad Dogs bringing up the pack at 7-28.
Alrighty, once again, congratulations to the East Prospect Pistons clinching the regular season championship. They got the cat's eye in the Susquehanna League with a 23-11 record. Alrighty, moving on to the Central League. In the Central League Go Long Game of the Week, the Stoverstown Tigers win by 1 is the loneliest number over Pleasureville by a score of 3-2. With the bases juiced, bottom of the 7th at Stoverstown, Marcus Rivera drew a walk-off free pass for the Stoverstown win.
Oh, for the Stoverstown
Yikes, that's 4
Tigers?
strikes.
Yep, that is true. Chris Madison with a solo shot in the bottom of the 5th, and Austin Rickrode with a pair of base knocks and a ribby to lead the way. In relief, Joe Yergel tossed a pair of scoreless innings for the win. For Pleasureville, Colton Harfley connected for a solo moonshot in the top of the 4th for the Pleasureville 9.
Another Central League games of the week. At the Rock, Glenrock Rochambeau Pleasureville 6-3 on a Trevor Walsey RBI base hit in the bottom of the 6th to give the boys from the Rock the lead. Josh Hine with a pair of hits, including a solo moonshot in the bottom of the 1st.
The Manchester Indians pounded the Vikings 9-2 at Manchester. Michael Hausio with a complete game win, and Stoverstown pickled Dillsburg 11-0 in 5 innings as Joe Yergel tossed a complete Game 4 hitter. Tanner Hoffman with a pair of knocks and 3 ribbies for Manchester.
Alrighty, and in Central League scores from Saturday, Becky B.
All right, from Saturday, the Vikings improved to 6 wins and 25 losses with a 5-2 win over the Pickletown boys of Dillsburg. This game was played at Shiloh. The league-leading two-time boys, the Mechanicsburg Cardinals, pick up win number 27, and now 2 games up in the loss column as they down second-place Mount Wolf with a score of 8-5. This important game was played at Rickenbach Shirley Memorial Field in Mechanicsburg.
Alrighty, so the Stoverstown Tigers improved to 19-11 as they pounded the boys from the Rock, paper, scissors. Stoverstown 9, Glenrock 2. This one played at Stoverstown and in the Nelly. Grab him by the ear and drag him out behind the woodshed. Giving a good old-fashioned whooping game of the week. The Jefferson Titans spanked Pleasureville 10 to the old goose egg at Jefferson. Hey, this is win number 22 for the Titans.
Oh, yes, and the Central League regular season wraps up this week. League-leading Mechanicsburg scheduled to match up with Stoverstown and Stewartstown this week, both games in Mechanicsburg, and second-place Mount Wolf scheduled to travel to Pickletown to take on Dillsburg on Tuesday evening. The Mechanicsburg Cardinals need just 1 win to clinch the regular season marbles in the Central League. So, here's a quick look at the Central League standings.
Time out.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Good.
Don't you think that Mechanicsburg, with the way they're, they just with 2 losses on the season, 27 wins, I think they can wrap it up this week, right?
Oh, they probably can wrap it up this week,
We'll see.
but there's always the spoilers, and you
yep.
can't be too confident going into this. I think that Mount Wolf game was pretty much, though, a deciding factor.
That's what did it. Yep.
Okay, but looking at the standings there, Mount Wolf and Mechanicsburg are all tied up in the win column with 27 each, but you got to look at the loss column because Mechanicsburg only has 2 and Mount Wolf has 4. And then looking at Jefferson is next in third place with a 22-9 record. Manchester at 19-10. Stoverstown 19-11. Glenrock 16-15. The boys from Dillsburg 10-20. Vikings at 5-25, and Pleasureville at 5-24.
All right, listen. Next week, baseball fans, local baseball fans, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to share some of the nicknames of players from the Central League and the Susquehanna League. So,
Oh, that does sound like
yeah.
fun.
Now, here's just a little sampler. The Hellam Express, for example, 3 nicknames I want to share with you.
Okay.
First, I should say, nicknames, first of all, it's a great part of the game of baseball, right? It's got a history, and we'll share some of those. And some of them are just named after where you're from or who, a little bit about yourself, just to tell about yourself, right?
Well, one thing I've noticed about York County, though, is York County's a hotbed for nicknames.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody has a nickname down here,
True.
especially people like in the seasoned age of 65 and over.
Yeah. Well, for example, in college, we had a guy from Kennett Square. His nickname was Mushroom. So, it tells you a little bit about the guy.
Yeah.
So, for the Hellam Express, their pitcher, first baseman, Nate Brown. Well, he's a park ranger. So, his nickname is Ranger Nate. That's what
makes
they call him.
sense, yeah.
Some nicknames just kind of build from the name itself. So for the Hellam Express, they call him Beto, Zach Zambito. Well, that makes sense. He's a second baseman for the Express. And I love the manager's name because some nicknames also, one single event that happens to you in your life can give you a nickname that will stick with you forever. So, for example, we had a guy on our team in college that he never did laundry before in his life. So he he heads off to college, and his parents give him a whole box of soap detergent, powdered soap detergent, and he put the whole box in the washing machine.
Oh my goodness!
So the laundry room at college had 5 feet of soap suds.
Poor guy. He probably couldn't find the washing machine.
So 40 years later, we still call the guy Suds. So anyway, manager Adam Hoff for the Hellam Express. When he was a player, he got, this is 35 years ago in high school. 35 years ago, he was stung by hornets, and his high school coach saw it, gave him the nickname that he still has is hornets, and it's just just some he's called the Hornet.
Got it.
So Adam Hoff, the Hornet, and so it's just it's some nicknames are fun. So just a couple. I know you'll know these. Some of these famous major league players: Charlie Hustle.
Pete Rose, yeah.
That's an easy one.
Yeah.
Stan the Man.
Oh yes, Stan Musial. Yes.
I mean, this guy was everything. He hit field. He could hit for average.
Yeah.
Stan the Man. I mean, I think that just describes him. When he walked on the field, on the playing field, he was the man.
Yeah, he could do it all.
And then one made famous with just one of the greatest baseball movies of all time, Shoeless Joe Jackson, right? And of course, the Babe, right?
Right.
George Herman Ruth, and he had more nicknames than probably anybody. The Salt and the Swat, the Great Bambino. But anyway, we're going on. Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly for the New York Yankees. The one that we saw play in St. Louis, Becky B, that I remember when we were there. In the 80s, the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, yes.
Ozzie Smith.
I loved when he used to do those backflips.
Yeah. Remember him running on the field, doing a backflip as he takes the field in St. Louis, and the fans loved it, didn't they?
Absolutely,
Yep, the Wizard of Oz. What a great fielder, and not a long ball hitter, but a consistent hitter, but the Wizard of Oz. Hammer and Hank.
Hank Aaron, yeah.
Yep. And then one of the great names, I believe, is Mr. October.
Oh, yeah, Reggie Jackson, because he always did so well in playoffs.
Yeah. All right, so just a couple Oriole nicknames. And again, we're doing this. Next week, we're going to give you, for fun, nicknames of local players. Won't that be fun?
Oh, that will be fun.
Yeah. So some of the Orioles, just because in this area we're Orioles and Philly fans mostly, and a lot of Pirate fans, but focused on the Orioles here a little bit and the Phillies. The Otter was Greg Olson, if you remember him.
I do.
Great pitcher,
right?
all-star closer. But when he batted, then they got the nickname that he was an otter out of water because his body a little bit shaped like an otter and so forth.
He probably wouldn't have ever gotten that nickname if he had at this day and age, because with the designated hitter, the pitchers don't have to be in that kind of position anymore.
True. One I love, Full Pack. Don Stanhouse. I don't know if you guys remember this closer in the
I don't
late
even
70s.
remember him.
Well, anyway, they also called him Stan the Man Unusual. And,
Unusual.
but he's one of these closers that would come in and walk the bases loaded and then somehow get out of the jam every time. And he's called Full Pack because Earl Weaver would end up down in the Dughouse runway, and they say he'd smoke a full pack of cigarettes while Stanhouse was
That probably
pitching.
contributed to his death, you know?
I guess. Full Pack Don Stanhouse. The judge, Frank Robinson, we don't have to talk much about Frank, but they had a kangaroo court in the clubhouse that Frank Robinson always stood judge over. Steady Eddie Murray.
Oh, yeah.
The Iron Man, Cal Ripken, and then my favorite player of all time, the human vacuum cleaner.
Gotta be Brooks Robinson.
Absolutely.
Nothing got past him at third base.
Yep, and a couple of Phillies nicknames as well. I didn't mention Boog Powell, but everybody knows. You just say Boog and you know who it is.
Yeah.
But the Bull, Greg Luzinski, he was built like a bull. Wild Thing, Mitch Williams. I mean, he had good times, bad times, but he was wild at times in the Wild Thing. Mitch Williams, the Sarge, Gary Matthews. I mean, he no player with more style than Gary Matthews. And then probably my favorite, the Secretary of Defense, was Gary Maddox. Won Gold Glove Awards from 1976, 7 consecutive all the way into 1982.
That's impressive, isn't it?
Yep. And we can go on and on and on. Hollywood Cole Hamels, Doc Holliday, Lights Out Brad Lidge, Shake and Bake McBride, J-Roll Jimmy Rollins, Skates Lonnie Smith. I mean, it's just, I love just going over nicknames.
Well,
but we can't do it forever.
That is true. Okay, well, let's move on to junior golf, okay?
But anyway,
No. That's fine. Okay, let's move on to junior golf, please. All right, congratulations to the York County Junior Golf Association because it captured the Ryder Cup event against Franklin County by a score of 20.5 to 7.5 at Carroll Valley Golf Course in Fairfield on Monday. And let's give a shout out to some of the participants who participated in that. In the red division, we have Vivian Powers and we have Gigi Mardini. In the blue division, Ryan Small, Ryan Thomas, and Lawson Lepper and Ryan Milford. And then moving on to the green division, we have Mason Pete and Greg Sebring. And the 9-hole, we have Cole Over and Jackie Brenninger. And congratulations to those young people who did so well representing York County.
Hey, WOIK listeners, Daryl Henry here with...
Okay, now we went to the York Revolution last night, and we have a roundup on the Revolution today, too.
We do. The York Revolution erased a 4-run deficit, but fell just shy of answering the second 4-run deficit. Becky B and I were there as a pair of 4-run innings helped the Spire City Ghost Hounds to a 9-7 victory on Saturday night in front of 5,211 fans at Wellspan Park, and the fireworks show was quite a dandy as well afterwards. For the Revs, Ryan January ripped a dinger to left center, his 5th long ball in the last 11 games, and Troy Stokes Jr. with a 2-run long ball.
And Nick Parker came in for the Revs and was greeted by a pair of singles and a stolen base, producing an immediate run. But then he was lights out. Parker worked 4 innings in relief and retired 12 of his final 14 batters in his home debut. The rookie from York County capped his outing by stranding a runner at third with no outs in the 9th on a pop-up, strikeout, and a comebacker.
Yep, attaboy Nick Parker. York will look to salvage Sunday's season finale at 2 p.m. today. It'll be Nick Rackett on the hill for the Revolution. He is 10-6 with a 3.80 ERA. Again, tickets on sale at YorkRevolution.com and in person at Shipley Energy Ticket Office. Friends, get out and see a good fun ball game. Alrighty, Becky B, the top performers of the week.
All right, the top performers in pitching for the Windsor Cardinals on Tuesday evening at Felden. Pitcher Sean Gladfelder twirled a complete game shutout gem. Gladfelder allowing just 4 base hits while whiffing 7 Felton batters at the Windsor Cardinals blanked the Felton Mad Dogs by a score of 5-0.
Alrighty, as we celebrate the accomplishments of our local athletes, we have to celebrate Candace Butler, Special K nominated NCAA Woman of the Year. My goodness, Candace, well done. she's just one accolade after another. She set Penn State Harrisburg's career scoring record last season, finished her career with 1,277 points. Her 295 career three-pointers were the most of any NCAA Division III player who was active during the season. All-conference 3 times, first-team selections twice. She's also all-time leading scorer at the Christian School of York with 1,389 scores. Becky B, she also quite a student as well.
Absolutely. 3.96 GPA.
Yeah.
And majored in communications and minored in American studies. And she was on the OWL academic team 4 times. Talk about impressive.
Alrighty, we're going to
Yes.
talk with Special K in just a little bit. Friends, let's go long. Today I thought the topic would be self-control. Self-control is one of the fruits of the Spirit, mentioning the book of Galatians, chapter 5, verses 22 and 23. It's our ability to control probably our thoughts, our actions, and often our emotions, which really, yesterday you see a clip of a brawl going on in Major League Baseball.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
With perhaps a serious injury and resulting in just the ability to control our emotions, and self-control, which, again, I thought Nick Parker really demonstrated great self-control last night. He got in a jam, man on third, nobody out, and just looked composed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just looked
He did,
composed.
yeah.
So today's topic is self-control. We want to talk a little bit about what the Bible tells us about that. And I guess for me it boils down to this, and it talks about it in the book of Proverbs. It's trusting and depending on our God to provide for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if you have that trust and you can lean on that trust during difficult times or when times that calls on having self-control, I know it's helped me throughout my life. There have been times, and I've been in a fight in a baseball game. I didn't do so well, by the way. But you just have to stand back and just say a quick prayer to yourself and ask God and trusting God to provide for you and help you through the difficult time. And as a coach, even before leaving the locker room, I would say a brief prayer. And part of that prayer was to allow me to have self-control to treat our players and the officials with all the respect they deserve, and so forth. Becky B, your thoughts there on trusting our God for self-control?
Well, oftentimes my difficulty with self-control is with my words. When I'm tired and cranky or hungry sometimes. Yeah, I do. It's often that my lips get me in lots of trouble and I lose self-control with my lips that I'll have to say a smart comment.
I've experienced that.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Trying to be giving people grace and walking in love is something that I strive for every day. And, some days I'm more successful than others, I would say. And it's still something I really have a struggle with every day.
Yeah, again, a fruit of the Spirit, and perhaps for those of us who are involved in sports, as either a player, an athlete, or another figure in sports, probably one of the most important fruits for us to have, and maybe, Becky B, as you kind of alluded to, even in our relationships, perhaps one of the most important fruits to have is self-control in many, many ways, and not just in our spoken word, as you talked about. Even body language and everything can show, can demonstrate itself and have a negative impact on our relationships with others, particularly our spouse, but friends, and again in sports, people that we're competing with or against. We saw a player get ejected last night in the Revs game. Again, it doesn't mean none of us are perfect, right? I mean,
Absolutely
we're sinners,
not.
and it's going to happen.
Yes.
If you compete and you're a competitor, it's going to happen. But the Bible does talk about self-control, and here are some of the things it talks, because I think we need to go to the Bible to learn about it. From 2 Timothy chapter 1, verses 7. For God gave us a spirit, not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. From the book of Titus, chapter 2, verses 11 through 14. For the grace of God has appeared, bringing salvation for all people, training us to renounce ungodliness and worldly passions, and to live self-controlled, upright and godly lives in our present age, waiting for our blessed hope, the appearing of the glory of our great God and Savior Jesus Christ, who gave himself to redeem us from all lawlessness and to purify for himself a people for his own possession, who are zealous for good works. So, there it talks about self-control, living a godly life, renouncing worldly passions that we have and living a self-controlled way. One more thing, Bucky B, and then I want your thoughts. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 25 through 27, and we've read these verses before. Every athlete exercises self-control in all things. They do it to receive a perishable wreath, but we are imperishable. So I do not run aimlessly. I do not box as one beating in the air, but I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. So Becky B, I guess 2 Timothy talked about the Spirit of God, and I think the Spirit, one of the fruits of the Spirit is self-control. We can look to the Spirit to help give us some self-control and power as well. Becky B.
Absolutely, and something that kind of, I don't know, maybe rubs me the wrong way, I guess, is, sometimes when we look at sports and professional sports, especially in college sports, some of the people who get some of the most press are those that didn't have a whole lot of self-control. I think like Bobby Knight and, the Ohio State coach who went off, I can't come up with his name right now. And some people, hockey games especially,
Oh my gosh,
everybody's
yes.
looking for the sticks flying and everything else. But think of coaches who do have the self-control and who really are standout coaches. They really don't sometimes get the press for that kind of self-control, but
Yeah.
respectful coaches to begin with.
Yeah. No, you're a good point, and we look to Jesus to give us a perfect example of self-control, right? Because he lived
Absolutely.
a sinless life, possessed every fruit of the Spirit,
When
demonstrated
he was chided
self-control.
by the
Yes.
devil, he was able to go for 40 days without
Yes.
eating and just, oh my goodness, yes.
Yep.
Well, he always is the one, lives without sin.
Yep, absolutely. But the fruit of the Spirit, as Galatians says again, is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. So, my friends, we pray that all of us, as we in our relationships and in all of our athletic endeavors as well, we demonstrate and we pray to God for assistance, as we all do. Again, I'm not perfect, and I've had many instances where I haven't demonstrated good self-control, but we pray to do so as Jesus' example. All right, my friends, we're going to be right back after this important message from our friends Kelsey Jean and Kylie Jane at Red Barn Home Decors.
Hey WOIK listeners, Daryl Henry here with Kelsey McCullough, Kylie Taylor, the owners of Red Barn Home Decors. Kelsey, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing.
So Kylie and I bring in our furniture and decor to either a vacant or occupied home, and we allow buyers to create emotional connections with the home by envisioning their family in that space. Doing that allows the buyer to get top dollar for their listing and also sell it in the fastest amount of time.
Kylie, tell us about the benefits of Red Barn in particular.
Home staging is very important in the selling process. It really makes sure that your home sells in the quickest amount of time and for the top dollar. Some of our statistics here are homes sell in an average of 4.5 days and for over 16,000 over asking.
Kelsey, how would folks get in touch with Red Barn?
Please feel free to check out our portfolio at www.redbarnhomedecors.com. You can also check out our social media pages at Red Barn Home Decors or give us a call at 717-818-1207.
When you have talent like this, you know we're gonna brag about it. From Colin Cowherd, Dan Patrick, Doug Gottlieb, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, Jonas Knox, Ben Maller, Rob Parker, Chris Broussard,
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Jason Smith, RJ Bell, and Mike Carmen.
There's going to be some saltiness about that.
This is more than a lineup. This is the lineup. They live right here on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Herd.
Attention listeners.
With Colin Cowherd.
Favre and Aaron Rodgers are not the same person, but they're becoming the same Green Bay quarterback. You've seen those commercials, those Progressive insurance commercials where, you start becoming your parents. They're actually very, very funny. Aaron's becoming Favre, whether he wants to be it or not. He's getting kind of rigid. He doesn't want to change certain things. Favre got very rigid. I don't want to learn a new offense. Aaron's like, I want Randall Cobb and my 70-year-old quarterback coach. They're becoming the same guy. And I've always called this the Green Bay Packer quarterback syndrome. In Green Bay, the quarterback runs the franchise. If Aaron keeps mentioning, I don't know if I'm going to play, the team that gets him doesn't have to give up many picks. Because Aaron's not going to go play for a crappy team. He'll just retire. Tennessee's the team I put out there.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Wow.
Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Can't get enough of the birds? Sports Radio 98.9 and 1350 WOYK has you covered. Join us all season on Mondays at 6 for the Baltimore Baseball Show, hosted by award-winning Orioles and National Baseball writer Dan Connolly from The Athletic Baltimore. Exclusive in-depth interviews, plus the latest insight and analysis on the Orioles every week. Talking baseball and the birds every Monday at 6. The Baltimore Baseball Show on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports.
Naya kicks the pitch. Swung on. Hit deep. Left center field. Has he done it again? Has he done it again? He did it! Rhys Hoskins with a 2-run game-tying homer here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And it's 6-6.
You are on York's home for the Phillies.
And now, the Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
This is always tricky when you have to change your viewing patterns of finding something. But going to YouTube, NFL Sunday Ticket was launched in 1994, and it was on DirecTV. This was a godsend for DirecTV, and they've had it since DirecTV's inception. But the NFL and YouTube are now partners here. The traditional media is not going to play a role moving forward. We're seeing that. Just different places with, a lot more money and needing that content there. Yes, Todd?
They do need to figure out a way, if there is technically, where you can flip from one channel to another without having to have 9 different remotes. And
yeah, you kind of can. If you have, depending on what type of streaming TV you have, you should hit one
I don't think it's that easy.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain.
Yeah.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Welcome back to Go Long. I'm Wayne McCullough. With me is Becky B. And on the phone with us right now, Special K, Candace Butler. Becky B., tell us a little bit about her.
All right. Well, Candace Special K is the all-time leading scorer at the Christian School of York and has been just an outstanding performer at Penn State Harrisburg. Just a terrific young woman as well. And she is now nominated for the Outstanding NCAA Women's Athlete.
Alrighty. Special K, what an incredible honor. Tell us a little bit about just what it means to you.
I don't think it really is sunk in, all that I've accomplished, but to be the NCAA Woman of the Year nominee for, not only my school, but the conference means a lot. And just, getting that recognition for all that I've done is really awesome.
Nominated as one of the top NCAA Women of the Year. I mean, this is not the top in York. This is not the top in Central Pennsylvania. This is not the top in your league. This is the top of all the athletes that participate in NCAA across the country. Just incredible. And Special K, well deserved. These things just don't happen. They really... They begin as a youth, continue through your playing career, your collegiate career as you develop. Reflect on that career a little bit for us, please.
I just think it's pretty cool. I went to Dallastown, which is a public school, K through 8, and then I transferred to CSY, and I wasn't sure where I would get to, if I would even be able to go and play college basketball, being at a small private Christian school, and not getting all that recognition that the public schools do. And now, looking back at it now, it's crazy how I even thought I wouldn't be able to get to where I am. I mean, I don't think I could have even imagine all the things I've done and been able to do, but it's just really amazing, and I almost don't even have the words to explain how awesome it is.
Well, Candace, you really set the plate, though, from a young age. From a young age, you worked hard. You played AAU in the off season. You were always, working to improve your game in many ways. And, small school or not, you did other things to make everybody around you look good. Talk about some of the ways you build up your teammates, please.
I mean, I always tried to not focus on myself, not have the spotlight on myself. Like, for example, when I was in high school, we had this Chinese exchange student. Her name is Shelly, and she'd never played basketball before, and she just wanted to be a part of the team. And I think it was like the game before, I was like 5 points away from like getting 1,000, and there was the other team was shooting a foul shot, and I told Shelly, like, once we get the inbound in, like, you run to the other end, and I'm going to get you the ball, and all you got to do is just make a layup. And she did, and that was her only point ever in her career. But, like, that to me, like, I'll always remember that as something that, like, I just love telling people, and just love for her, and we're still friends to this day, so.
Special K, you know, tell us what's in front of you. We've followed you now throughout your high school and collegiate career, and we've done so with just great love of watching you, of your outstanding athletic ability.
Not to mention her scholastic ability too.
Yeah, and it's just how she carries herself, and it's just been fun, Special K. You know, it seemed like every daggone time we pick up the paper or look on the Facebook, we see something else about Special K and what she did. So what's ahead? Tell us what's ahead for you now.
I'm not quite sure, but right now I was working in sports information at Penn State Harrisburg, so I'm going to continue to do that. I've been dog sitting. I've been just doing random things to make money, but I'm hoping soon something will come up that will be the right fit for where I am right now, whether it be, I hope it's something in sports, but we'll see, whatever God has planned, so.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind good things are going to come your way, and if not, you'll make good things come your way. That's the kind of person you are, Special K.
Now, Special K, we've been talking about self-control on today's show, and, you know, you've always showed great sportsmanship and self-control. What do you attribute that to?
I would say learning from other people's mistakes, I would say. I mean, I grew up watching my siblings play and who they played against and how people sometimes carry themselves, and sometimes it's not the best way, and you learn from that from watching other people. And I always just thought, you know, everything's bigger than me, so why make it about myself? Why do things that would reflect badly on not only myself but my family and the people that I care about? And just holding yourself accountable and things like that.
Yeah, well, Special K, you certainly are a special person, and that's where that nickname Special K comes from. We were talking a little bit about nicknames today, and Special K certainly is one of those nicknames. Do you have any favorite nicknames of players that you've played with, or people you've competed against, or even sports heroes that you have? Any nicknames come to mind, Special K?
I don't know. I mean, that nickname for myself, you made up when I was, I don't even know, first, second grade.
That's because I knew in second grade you were special. I could tell then.
Yeah, and then that's kind of stuck. I don't know about other people, but I don't know if you guys saw the post, but our sports information director with the new Barbie movie said I'm Ken Enough, if you guys have seen it, so that's kind of cool as well.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Special K, congratulations. Kendis Butler from the Christian School of York, Penn State Harrisburg, nominated for NCAA Woman of the Year. Well deserved. A tremendous athlete, a great basketball player, handles herself tremendously well, great student as well. Special K, good things are in front of you. And we appreciate always the opportunity to chat with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alrighty, my friends, we'll be right back after this brief message.
Hey, WOIK listeners, Daryl Henry here with Kelsey McCullough, Kylie Taylor, the owners of Red Barn Home Decors. Kelsey, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing.
So Kylie and I bring in our furniture and decor to either a vacant or occupied home, and we allow buyers to create emotional connections with the home by envisioning their family in that space. Doing that allows the buyer to get top dollar for their listing and also sell it in the fastest amount of time.
Kylie, tell us about the benefits of Red Barn in particular.
Home staging is very important in the selling process. It really makes sure that your home sells in the quickest amount of time and for the top dollar. Some of our statistics here are home sell in an average of 4.5 days and for over 16,000 over asking.
Kelsey, how would folks get in touch with Red Barn?
Please feel free to check out our portfolio at www.redbarnhomedecors.com. You can also check out our social media pages at Red Barn Home Decors or give us a
Can't get
call
enough
at
of the birds?
717-818-2222.
Sports Radio 98.9 and 1350 WOYK has you covered. Join us all season on Mondays at 6 for the Baltimore Baseball Show, hosted by award-winning Orioles and National Baseball writer Dan Connolly from The Athletic Baltimore. Exclusive in-depth interviews, plus the latest insight and analysis on the Orioles every week. Talking baseball and the birds every Monday at 6. The Baltimore Baseball Show on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports.
Naya kicks the pitch. Swung on, hit deep, left center field. Has he done it again? Has he done it again? He did it! Reese Hoskins with a 2-run game-tying homer here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And it's 6-6.
You're on York's home for the Phillies.
Alrighty, welcome back to Go Long. I'm Wayne McCullough. With me is Becky B. Live on the phone with us. Nick Parker, the York Revolution. Nick, thanks for being with us. How you doing this morning?
Doing good.
Alrighty, thank you. Listen, I know you're on the way to the ballpark already. Those late games that end on a late night, and then you got to get up and play a day game. That's not easy.
No, I've realized the midday or like the daytime game in pro ball is a lot different than when in college.
Yes, you got to be at the ballpark like 5 hours early, right?
Yeah.
Nick, first of all, we were in the stands last night, Becky B and I thought you just had a tremendous outing. You just gave up 1 run, 4 innings, but I thought the most impressive thing, when you had a man on third, nobody out, and you fought your way out of it. I thought your stuff looked good. You had some good pop on your fastball, but most importantly, the ball was moving, and it was moving around the plate. Well done last night. Tell us about your outing.
Yeah, I thought last night, was pretty good. I've been trying to capitalize on some things that I've learned here pretty quick. And last night I had a good feel for most of my pitches. I thought our catcher, Ryan January, did a great job calling the game. Got a lot of trust in him, and I think he does a great job of kind of putting me in positions to just make pitches, and he's making the right calls. So kind of just grinded one out there in the last inning. It'd been a little bit since I'd thrown that many pitches, so I was definitely probably a little gassed by the end, but it was good to kind of lengthen out again.
We're talking with Nick Parker, Dallastown High School graduate, took Dallastown High School deep in the state playoffs. Everywhere you've been successful, Nick. Successful high school player, successful collegiate player, not only at Coastal Carolina, but then recently with ACC, in the ACC with Virginia. I watched you on ESPN pitch against Duke. What a great outing that was. So everywhere you've been successful, what is different about pro ball in the Atlantic League than really playing top college baseball Division I?
The hitters in this league are really good. A lot of those guys are ex-AA, AAA, big league guys. So it's more of just, I think what I've learned pretty quick is that they just kind of hit your mistakes a lot sooner. You don't really get too many mistakes, and they're going to capitalize on it. So it's more just executing your pitch and kind of going off that and seeing where to miss, how to miss, and what's going, and just kind of making your pitches more consistently than before.
Now, Nick, like Wayne said, you've had a lot of successes, but let's talk a little bit about the mental game. How has Nick Parker changed from playing at Dallastown to now playing for the Revs?
Quite a bit. I mean, in high school, you don't really do too much mental stuff, I don't think. I mean, kind of my talent was there. But when I got to college, I definitely had to work on my mental side of things, just because it was more of a grind, and the players were good. Players were a lot better overall. So it was kind of finding an edge that way, and realizing that the game can kind of be tough. So you kind of figure out how to handle that, handle success, handle failure.
Nick, a lot of athletes are kind of motivated by what I'll call naysayers, and I'm kind of curious. What kind of naysayers have they told you don't throw hard enough? Have they told you you're not 6'4"? And what has that motivated you in any way? I'm kind of interested in your motivation.
People are going to say what they say from outside the lines. I don't really look too deep into what others like to say about that kind of stuff. I kind of try and keep all that like the negative perspectives out of it, and just kind of take the facts for what they are, and kind of stick to my approach and not really worry too much about what those kind of people are saying about it.
Tell us about your aspirations. You're hoping to get an opportunity to play affiliated baseball, Major League Baseball. I think you've got the stuff to do it. I think you've got the command to do it. What do you have to improve, perhaps, and what's your aspirations?
Yeah, my aspirations are definitely to play at the highest level that I can. I'd like to get picked up by an organization now or in the fall or right before season next year starts, whatever it may be. And then, sorry, what was the second half to the question?
No, that's okay. What do you think what part of your pitching arsenal do you think you can improve to make that happen, perhaps?
Right. It definitely is a velocity piece to it. Developing the ability to throw harder is I think what's going to push me over the edge. So it's kind of trying to find that unlock for me.
There's been a lot of pitchers in Major League Baseball that beat people with great command. Now, you threw one in the low 90s last night. I thought you reared back, got a little extra there when you were in a jam. But again, your location was outstanding. Your mix of pitches was outstanding. I got to believe, you live and die with your command, right?
Yeah, that and just like the pitch arsenal. I think my pitches are very good. I think they move pretty well, and I think I understand the shapes of how they move and how those shapes play with each other. So I feel like I know myself pretty good. It's kind of just attacking the zone and trusting that my stuff, might not be lighting up the radar gun. It's gonna win in the zone. So.
Nick, we have a lot of young local athletes listen to our show. Tell us how you've prepared. What got you to this point? What work did it take for you to get to this point?
It took, it was just work. Working, kind of every day, getting up, doing what you need to get done, whether you kind of feel like it or not. You're going to show up, you got to get in the weight room, you got to eat right, you got to sleep right, it's a lot of factors that go into doing it to where outcomes kind of fall in your favor. You can kind of build up your own luck, so to say, but it's not even luck. It's just, going out there and doing what you need to do, because it's, now it's just pretty cool. It's your job. But doing those, you kind of develop those habits over the years, and you don't really have a choice if you kind of want to go where you want to go. It kind of takes what it takes. You don't really have a choice.
Nick, talk to us a little bit about being a Division I athlete. What type of of time commitment is it? How do you learn to manage the athletic end as well as the academic end?
Right. I think that the universities do a great job of equipping student athletes with all the resources that they need to make the transition. It is a big time commitment, and most of your time is going to be spent with your sport. So if you're not prepared to do that, then it's not really the fit for you. But as a matter of, if you are dedicated to the sport, then I think the balancing of school and sport is pretty well organized from a university aid standpoint.
Speaking with Nick Parker last night, watching him on the Hill at the York Revolution game, just gave a lot of us from central Pennsylvania area great pride, Nick. It's fun to celebrate all you've accomplished. Just have a little bit of fun. We talked a little bit about nicknames, some old nicknames, like obviously the easy ones. Babe Ruth is, the Babe, the Sultan of SWAT. I know in baseball, especially in college, there had to be some nicknames of teammates that just probably you enjoyed, right?
Yeah.
Are you able to share them with us?
I'm trying to think of if I had a favorite one.
All right.
My first roommate at Coastal Carolina, or not my roommate, actually, I just remembered another one. There was this kid on my team my freshman year. His name was Dylan, but everyone just called him Slick. Like S-L-I-C-K, just Slick.
You got to love it, right? I was telling a story earlier. We had a guy on our team who went to college, never did laundry before, and his parents gave him a box of soap powder, and he used a whole daggone box in one load and had suds 5 feet deep in the laundry room. So, the guy's now 60 years old, and we still call him Suds. But isn't baseball a great game, Nick?
It's awesome. It's the best.
What enjoyment? I mean, you're dealing with pressure all the time when you go on the mound, and you gave them, especially if you're relieving like you are last night. You deal with pressure situations. What makes you love the game? What's fun about the game to you?
I think part of it is the the everyday goal that you can have to come to the field and try and work at something to get a little bit better, and you're always kind of chasing a lofty goal. I think that's what I like most about it. There's always a challenge in front of you, so you always have something to kind of strive for and keep striving for.
All right, Nick, today on the show we were talking about self-control, and I know baseball often is a game of hecklers and, people riding you, especially when the pressure's on and you're pitching and, like that guy's on third or maybe the bases are loaded and you've got to get that final out. What do you do to practice self-control?
I think it's almost like, I think discipline is a good word, is where it's kind of just like every day I kind of try and keep my schedule, keep my routines, and try and be as disciplined as I can, and doing things that I say I'm going to do, and just kind of building discipline habits into my routine. I think that's a good way that I kind of do that.
Nick, one more thing. I love baseball. I played college baseball as well, and played local town team baseball. But baseball is a game, and not everyone realizes it. There's a lot of dugout chatter, right? I mean, people just chattering in there, and some stuff is trash talk, some stuff is just good old baseball chatter. Do you have a story about funny baseball chatter? For example, we had a guy, we used to play in the day where guys wore stirrups on their, for socks. And if the stirrups were kind of hanging down, the guy would yell out of the dugout, play us a tune on your accordion, that kind of chatter. It's a fun game to pick on people, I guess, is why you say it. But it's not picking on them in baseball. It's just chatter. Any chatter stories?
I mean, being in the dugout's always like a great time. I think most of the stories I can think about, I don't think I could say. But I mean, it's always good, especially the bullpen's great. You just have a lot of time at the baseball field. So you come up with a lot of interesting things to talk about.
Alrighty, I'll take that. Alrighty, well listen, Nick Parker, today we celebrate you. I know you're on the way to the ballpark. I doubt if you're going to pitch today after 4 innings yesterday, so you might just be able to get a little workout in and hang out in the bullpen and relax a little bit today.
Have some of that dugout chatter.
Yeah. Get a little chatter going in there. I think we can rely on you for that, Nick. But listen, all of us in Central Pennsylvania are so proud of you. It was fun to follow you in the College World Series and watch how well you pitched for Virginia, your leadership. And last night, again, I just loved the composure you had with a man on third, nobody out, and the way you fought yourself out of that inning. I mean, that, Nick, is major league stuff. And, I believe that major league scouts and everyone in baseball look at that as more importantly than going to 1, 2, 3 inning. They want to see your ability to be composed and throw your best stuff when you're in a jam, and last night you did it. So, Nick, thanks for being with us. Congratulations. We look forward to following you as you move forward.
Yes, thank you guys for having me.
All righty, guys. We'll be right back after this quick message.
Hey, WOIK listeners, Daryl Henry here with Kelsey McCullough, Kylie Taylor, the owners of Red Barn Home Decors. Kelsey, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing.
So Kylie and I bring in our furniture and decor to either a vacant or occupied home, and we allow buyers to create emotional connections with the home by envisioning their family in that space. Doing that allows the buyer to get top dollar for their listing and also sell it in the fastest amount of time.
Kylie, tell us about the benefits of Red Barn in particular.
Home staging is very important in the selling process. It really makes sure that your home sells in the quickest amount of time and for the top dollar. Some of our statistics here are home sell in an average of 4.5 days and for over 16,000 over asking.
Kelsey, how would folks get in touch with Red Barn?
Please feel free to check out our portfolio at www.redbarnhomedecors.com. You can also check out our social media pages at Red Barn Home Decors or give us a call at 717-818-1207.
Welcome back.
Red Barn Home Decors.
Hey, welcome back to Go Long. I'm Wayne McCullough. With me is Becky B. Friends, thank you so much for being with us every Saturday morning or every Sunday morning here at 9. What day is
today? Wayne, is it all going
Sunday,
together?
Yeah. Every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. As we celebrate the accomplishments of our local players with 2 wonderful young people today, Nick Parker.
Absolutely.
Special
2
K.
York County-based
Yep.
people who have really made an impact on sports.
So as we close out today's show, as we do every Sunday morning, Becky B., please lead us in prayer.
Dear Lord, we just thank you for this time together and thank you for the day that you have given us. We just praise you, Lord, for your many mercies. Praise you, Lord, for all the many blessings that you have given us. And we just thank you for the joy of sports and the ability to develop the camaraderie and to witness the talents of many people in sports too. We just thank you for the 2 young people today who have spent time with us, for Nick and also for Candace, and thank you for their abilities and ask your blessing on them as they continue on, Lord. And we just thank you for the gorgeous weather that we have had and a little break from the heat. Lord, we just ask your blessing on the people who are listening to us and blessing on people who are participating in sports. And we especially ask your blessing on Joy and on Jen as they are recovering from their surgery, and ask that you give them the strength as they work through the pain and work through the rehab and as they recover. And we ask that you be with Sharon and with Diane as they continue their recovery from their illnesses too, and give them the strength to recover and give them the patience to work through their trials, and ask that you also be with Carolyn and her family as they lay her husband to rest as well. We just thank you, Lord, for the many, many fruits and vegetables that are ripe and tasty at this time. Thank you for the York County corn that we have enjoyed so much this week. And we just thank you, Lord, for giving us the ability to try to develop our self-control. And we ask that you be with us as we go through the week and be with our actions and be with our words and be with our body language. Help us to be merciful to others and to give them grace.
In Jesus Christ's name, we pray. Amen. Dear Heavenly Father, as in the book of Timothy, 2 Timothy chapter 1 through 7, for God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. With the Holy Spirit inside of us, we are able to possess self-control and demonstrate the fruits of the Spirit. As a result, we can live in a way that is honorable to God. And then the book of Galatians chapter 5, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. My friends, may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all. Thank you to Kelsey Jean and Kylie Jane from Red Barn Home Decors, where home staging makes dollars and cents. For Sports Radio 98.9 FM, 1350 AM, WOYK. First in sports, first in New York. I'm Wayne McCullough and Becky B saying, go long. is the Grand Salami for Virginia in the ACC and in 50 a.m. First in York, 50 a.m. Knox won 4 trips to the dinner table, and Sneaking Hobart
and Austin Rick rode with a pair of
love, joy, peace. And Special K certainly is one of
the daytime game in pro ball.
Stuff is just good old. Can you tell us a little bit about her?
Oh.
Your collegiate career as you developed.
Law school or not, you did other things to make everybody around you look good. Talk about some of the ways you build up your teammates, please.
I mean, I always tried to not focus on myself, not have a spotlight on myself. Like, for example, when I was in high school, we had this Chinese exchange student. Her name is Shelly, and she'd never played basketball before, and she just wanted to be a part of the team. And I think it was like the game before. It was like 5 points away from like getting 1,000, and there was the other team was shooting a foul shot, and I told Shelly, like, once we get the inbound in, like, you run to the other end, and I'm going to get you the ball, and all you got to do is just make a layup. And she did, and that was her only point ever in her career. But, like, that to me, like, I'll always remember that as something that, like, I just love telling people, and just love for her, and we're still friends to this day, so.
Special K, tell us what's in front of you. We've followed you now throughout your high school and collegiate career, and we've done so with just great love of watching you, of your outstanding athletic ability.
Not to mention her scholastic ability too.
Yeah, and it's just how she carries herself, and it's just been fun, Special K. It seems like every day one time we pick up the paper or look on the Facebook, we see something else about Special K and what she did. So what's ahead? Tell us what's ahead for you now.
I'm not quite sure, but right now I was working in sports information at Penn State Harrisburg, so I'm going to continue to do that. I've been dog sitting, I've been just doing random things to make money, but I'm hoping soon something will come up that will be the right fit for where I am right now, whether it be, I hope it's something in sports, but we'll see, whatever God has planned, so.
There's no doubt in my mind good things are going to come your way, and if not, you'll make good things come your way. That's the kind of person you are, Special K.
Now, Special K, we've been talking about self-control in today's show, and, you've always showed great sportsmanship and self-control. What do you attribute that to?
I would say learning from other people's mistakes, I would say. I grew up watching my siblings play and who they played against and how people sometimes carry themselves, and sometimes it's not the best way, and you learn from that from watching other people. And I always just thought, everything's bigger than me, so why make it about myself? Why do things that would reflect badly on not only myself but my family and the people that I care about, and just holding yourself accountable and things like that.
Yeah, well, Special K, you certainly are a special person, and that's where that nickname Special K comes from. We were talking a little bit about nicknames today, and Special K certainly is one of those nicknames. Do you have any favorite nicknames of players that you've played with, or people you've competed against, or even sports heroes that you have? Any nicknames come to mind, Special K?
I don't know. I mean, that nickname for myself, you made up when I was, I don't even know, third, second grade.
That's because I knew in second grade you were special. I could tell then.
Yeah, and then that's kind of stuck. I don't know about other people, but I don't know if you guys saw the post, but our sports information director with the new Barbie movie said I'm Ken Enough, if you guys seen it, so that's kind of cool as well.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, Special K, congratulations. Candace Butler from the Christian School of York, Penn State, Harrisburg, nominated for NCAA Woman of the Year. Well deserved. A tremendous athlete, a great basketball player, handles herself tremendously well, great student as well. Special K, good things are in front of you. And we appreciate always the opportunity to chat with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, my friends, we'll be right back after this brief message.
Hey, WOIK listeners, Daryl Henry here with Kelsey McCullough, Kylie Taylor, the owners of Red Barn Home Decors. Kelsey, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing.
So Kylie and I bring in our furniture and decor to either a vacant or occupied home, and we allow buyers to create emotional connections with the home by envisioning their family in that space. Doing that allows the buyer to get top dollar for their listing and also sell it in the fastest amount of time.
Kylie, tell us about the benefits of Red Barn in particular.
Home staging is very important in the selling process. It really makes sure that your home sells in the quickest amount of time and for the top dollar. Some of our statistics here are homes sell in an average of 4.5 days and for over 16,000 over asking.
Kelsey, how would folks get in touch with Red Barn?
Please feel free to check out our portfolio at www.redbarnhomedecors.com. You can also check out our social media pages at Red Barn Home Decors or give us a
Can't get enough of the birds? Sports Radio 98.9 and 1350 WOYK has you covered. Join us all season on Mondays at 6 for the Baltimore Baseball Show, hosted by award-winning Orioles and National Baseball writer Dan Connolly from The Athletic Baltimore. Exclusive in-depth interviews, plus the latest insight and analysis on the Orioles every week. Talking baseball and the birds every Monday at 6. The Baltimore Baseball Show on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports.
Aya kicks the pitch. Swung on. Hit deep. Left center field. Has he done it again? Has he done it again? He did it! Reese Hoskins with a two-run game-tying homer here in the bottom of the fifth inning. And it's 6-6.
You're on York's home for the Phillies.
Hey, welcome back to Go Long. I'm Wayne McCullough. With me is Becky B. live on the phone with us. Nick Parker, the York Revolution. Nick, thanks for being with us. How you doing this morning?
Doing good.
All righty, thank you. Listen, I know you're on the way to the ballpark already. Those late games that end on a late night, and then you got to get up and play a day game. That's not easy.
No, I've realized the midday or like the daytime game in pro ball is a lot different than when in college.
Yes, you got to be at the ballpark like 5 hours early, right? Nick, first of all, we were in the stands last night, Becky B. and I thought you just had a tremendous outing. You just gave up one run, 4 innings, but I thought the most impressive thing, when you had a man on third, nobody out, and you fought your way out of it. I thought your stuff looked good. You had some good pop in your fastball, but most importantly, your ball was moving, and it was moving around the plate. Well done last night. Tell us about your outing.
Yeah, I thought last night, was pretty good. I've been trying to capitalize on some things that I've learned here pretty quick. And last night I was
giving up just one run on 4 hits. But the most impressive thing I thought was he worked himself out of a jam, man on third, nobody. Revolution erased a 1-1.
Where I would get to, if I would even be able to go.
A.m. As we settle.
sorry, what was the second half to the question?
No, that's okay. What do you think what part of your pitching arsenal do you think you can improve to make that happen, perhaps?